Vikide Sharanam Vrindavane Krishna Chandra Vikide Sharanam. Last night we listened to the katha of how Devaki, she was blessed to give birth to all of these sons that were destroyed because of a shrap, because of a curse that was placed in their previous birth. And so hoping that when they would die instantaneously right after death, then change will come about. When you and I, we experience that not for ourselves, but by seeing those around us die, it is supposed to be an awakening for us, reminding us that death came knocking at their door, and one day surely it will come knocking at ours. While we make preparations for everything in life, some degree of preparation must be made for when death will come. Ask the person next to you, what have you done to prepare yourself? What have you done to prepare yourself for when that will come? I'm not saying go to the funeral home and choose your box. I'm not saying choose what you want to wear on the day of your funeral. I'm not saying to choose the pundit. Don't choose me, I might be dead before you. But I'm saying that while the body will remain behind, our Atma will stand accountable in front of Paramatma. He's going to ask, how much times did you go to the Bhagwat? How much times did you go to the Yajna? How much times you prayed to God in the form of Ganesh? You belong to the Ganesh Utsav Foundation. But belonging doesn't just mean belonging. Belonging means belonging to serve, to worship wholeheartedly, selflessly, not selfishly. These beings were given this vardhan that when they die, they will come back renewed, forgetting the vow that they made and the blessing that they had in their previous birth. Have you ever pondered on if there was life before this one, where you were, who you were, how you lived, what you experienced? In rituals that we perform in this lifetime, it tells us that, there are some rituals that we perform that secures us in enjoying the same thing that we would have enjoyed in this lifetime, in the next one. Like putting the sindoor. May I be blessed to have the same husband in 7 births. Oh God. Vice versa. And there are different things that we do that we will hope, we will try to prepare ourselves that we will enjoy the very same thing in our next birth. You see, when Kekeyi Mata asked and requested of Lord Rama, I want to be your mother in your next avatar. I want you to come from my womb. Lord Rama says, it has already been destined. It has already been planned. And so because it has already been planned, I cannot change it. You and I think that we could change God's will. You and I think that we could change karma. But can we really? We must simply repay the debt of our karma. And nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Nobody lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And so, as the children of Devaki, they were liberated. Devaki, she started to pray because Devaki could no longer withstand the pain. She could no longer stand the frustration. And unable to stand the pain and the frustration, Devaki, she was praying to Bhagwan. Bhagwan Pragat, he appeared in a sapna, in a dream. And appearing in this dream, Bhagwan said, don't worry, I am going to come. I am going to come. But you must follow my instruction. How good are you at following instruction? Hello? How good at you following instruction? Hello? How good are you at following instructions? We follow instructions conveniently, selectively, and and sometimes with hesitation. Isn't it? Devaki, being given this assurance, the babies were switched. And we all know what happened. They brought back Yogmaya into the prison cell and they left Bhagwan Krishna in the cradle of Yashoda and Nanda. Gokula banva jela bataiya, Gokula banva jela bataiya, Gokula banva jela bataiya. See, comes in his kingdom, he's worried. And you know why Kamsa is worried? He's going to die. Who is not going to die? Which one of us here will not die? Which one of us here will not die? Totaram, who came from Canada for the Bhagwat Yagya, he said he came to the Yagya for one reason. Because he listened to a previous katha that I would have read that says that there is a mantra, there is a katha that can be sung that will make sure you don't die, the Amar Katha. He came to me and he says, could you read that in the Bhagwat so we'll all live forever? Can you read that Amar Katha so we'll live forever? Do you want to live forever? Do you want to live forever? It depends on who remain with us. Isn't it? You see, nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. Even us, this body. Bhagwan Krishna is across the river Yamuna in the home of Nanda and Yashoda. But you see, Kamsa becomes furious. And becoming furious, Kamsa begins to think with no logic. He wants to destroy that baby, but by destroying that baby, he's destroying all the other babies. Coincidentally, this morning our entire katha is surrounded by children, child and play. You see what's happening in the Yagya this morning? The children running everywhere. Everywhere. Up and down. Coincidentally. Across the river Yamuna, everybody is going to see the son of Yashoda. And going to see the son of Yashoda, what are they doing? Jule jule palena, jule jule palena, Yashoda julave lalena.
Jule jule palena, jule jule palena, Yashoda julave lalena.
Jule jule palena, jule jule palena, Yashoda julave lalena.
Jule jule palena, jule jule palena, Yashoda julave lalena.
They're shaking the palna. They're mesmerized by the little baby Krishna. And mesmerized by the baby Krishna, the baby quickly begins to grow. You see, by the time the baby begins to grow and the baby begins to crawl and creep and Kamsa sent Putna across the river Yamuna. Putna is a she demon. But Putna goes with the intention of destroying the child. She waits until Devaki, she is in a busy mode, and then she volunteers to hold the baby. She volunteers to hold the baby. You ever tried to give your baby to somebody to hold, and from the time the child see that person, the child starts to scream? You know what that child seeing in that person? What did the child see? Don't answer, please. What is that child seeing in that person? The child is feeling something that you can't feel. The child is seeing something that you cannot see. I listened to them tell a little story about if you want to see things that you're not supposed to see, you're supposed to take something and put it in your eye from an animal and different things. And I'm laughing at them. I'm laughing at them. Why do you want to see what you're not supposed to see? Putna goes and Putna paces her breast with poison, holding the baby Krishna. He is not crying, he is laughing. And as Putna begins to feed him, you know what happened? He begins to drink. He is not drinking milk, he is drinking pran, the breath out of the body of Putna. इतना तो कर न स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले, गोविंद नाम लेकर फिर प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो कर न स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले, गोविंद नाम लेकर फिर प्राण तन से निकले। श्री गंगा जी का तट हो, जमुना का तट तरज हो, मेरे सावरा निकल हो, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तू कर न स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। Drinking the pran, Putna is experiencing great pain. You and I think that depending on how it happens, how you see it happening, is a painless thing. But the Garuda Puran tells otherwise. Can you remember what the Garuda Puran says? The Garuda Puran says death is very painful. Very painful. It gives an example of the pain that is experienced when death comes. And so Putna, she's experiencing great pain because her very breath is being stolen away from her because of her crooked intention. But when Putna collapses, Putna doesn't look like the beautiful damsel that she presented herself. She looks, you know how? Ever see somebody in the coffin and you say, oh God, who is that? That can't be the same person. Actually, sometimes, depending on how you live and the kind of life you live, nobody might even be able to see you when you're dead. And that's how the karma is. The law of karma is, there is a proverb that says, so you live, you shall. Have you ever heard that before? So you live your life, so you will. Putna, she dies. Krishna, Yashoda wants to have him under control, so she tie him down. Imagine you tie down your child and leave them home to do your work. While you're there, you're not abandoning them. You tie them to keep them under control. What will happen? If it was a child like me, I will bawl till you let go me. I will scream until I get free. I will cry loud. I think maybe that's how I know to sing good. I cry loud. Our Aji and our Ajo, they will tell this story of how they had plenty children. And to keep them under control, Aji will rip a bed sheet and use to tie them to the different posts to keep them away from each other so that she'll have them under control. She ties him to the ukri and the mosar, and he begins to pull, he begins to tug. But as he tugs it, you know what happens? It gets stuck between two trees. The little child is pulling and pull down the two trees. They collapse. And who were they? Nal Kuber and Manigriv. Nal Kuber and Manigriv, they were given a shrap because they like to be naked and show their body all how. And especially when they're bathing in the river and while they were in the river and the great Muni came, with no respect they got up and put on their clothes, and the Muni gave them a shrap, a curse. You like to be naked? Eva must do. Be like two tall trees naked, stand naked. It goes on and on and on. And Kamsa tries to destroy this child by using many different methods and modes, but he has not been able to succeed. But the Katha this morning says that at one time, in this place called Braj, Bhagwan Krishna and all of his friends, they were playing at the banks of the river Yamuna. But while they're playing with a ball, Something about the mind, the water, and the ball. You think that they all go together, isn't it? Isn't it? Especially the children. So much so that they recognize that you like to play with the ball in the water, so they created a thing and they call it a beach ball. Huh? Isn't it? Playing with the ball. Playing with the ball. The ball goes into the river. And as the ball goes into the river, everybody begins to look at each other. And nobody is volunteering to go and get the ball. Ever playing in the ocean with the ball and the ball goes into the deep part where you think you will not be able to reach the bottom? What you do? You begin to delegate, huh? You go, you could swim, you go. Don't point me, huh? I'm not going. Whether I could swim or not, you would never know. I'm not going. And so what will happen? Listen, it tells us. Om Shri Paramatmani Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shadarupena Sanstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Govinda Govinda Hare Murari. Govinda Govinda Mukunda Krishna. Govinda Govinda Ratangapani. Damo Dharma Dameti. Om Shri Paramatmani Namah. Shri Vyasavacha. Ved Shri Muni का भृगु मुनि शिक्षा का उन्होंने का अपने देख और गु का कठोर तपस की करने वाले एक समय के ऋषि अश्ववाद की श्राप करण करने हैं अपने का अश्ववाद कठोर का व्यापस करने वाले श्री परमात्मने नमः. There was a great Muni whose name was Shri. Vashri was a disciple of a greater Muni whose name was Bhrigu. And so he was guided by his guru whose name was Bhrigu. And now, serving his guru with faith and with love and with devotion, one day he heard of a much more senior than his guru, Bhrigu Muni, and he decided to attend. In attendance, saw this very senior being, and as soon as the senior being entered, they washed the feet of this holy man, and now they were sharing the water as Amrit. What if when Pandit Satnarayan came this morning, we took a scrubbing brush and a big thali and some water, and we scrub down his foot. And we dry his foot and we rub some ghee and then after we were done, we take a spoon now, we pass it around by everybody and we tell you, drink Amrit. What you'll do? But you see, his foot was a little rough, so we use a little sandpaper to. What you'll do? What you'll do? Hello? What you? Isn't it? So what you do? You don't love him so much? You love with a limit? President, what do you do? You see, when I read this, I too became a little bit worried. I became a little bit worried. Because you see, not to disrespect this Amrit, he received it. But after he placed it on his head, rubbed it on his hands and about his body. And doing this, the great sage saw, and the great sage became angry, The great sage spoke, and observing this behavior, the great sage says, you are not worthy of drinking. You are behaving, and so you have rubbed it all over your skin. I bless you to be transformed into a creature whose skin drags everywhere it goes. Listen to what it's saying. I bless you to become a creature that's skin drags everywhere that it goes. He goes back to his guru, Bhrigu Muni. What can I do? And the guru now gives an advice. When he gave, listen, it tells us, Om Namo Bhagavate, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Devaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
वाली उन्होंने का प्रार्थना चमस्त्वं देवस्य चमस्त्वं परमात्मा चमस्त्वं प्रायश्चित्ते दान्य तन्य का किया हो करने वाले देखो श्राप करने हे भगवान के सवाल हे प्रगट हे दीन दयालु परम कृपालु अंतर्यामी हे पृथ्वी पर का हो गया करने. He says, the sage Bhrigu, he says, what can I do? परम कृपालु अंतर्यामी हे पृथ्वी पर का हो गया करने. He says, the sage Bhrigu, he says, what can I do? What can I do? This came about because of your action. And so the shrap was given to you. And so it means that you must repay the debt of your shrap. Whether what you do, it is going to befall you. But you can do dan, you can give gifts, you can do prashchit. You can perform noble acts, noble actions, mentally and otherwise. Think good thoughts.